Hi, I'm Umbrian Libris. Last July, when I went on my media blackout ahead of the release of Pokémon Sword and Shield, Galarian regional forms had not been revealed yet. For those who weren't around, I spent the 4 months just before the release of Sword and Shield not looking at any news whatsoever so that I would have a more genuine and fresh experience. I've been doing that for a few generations now. But yeah, we did already kind of expect Galarian forms because Alolan forms had been so successful, but I did not see the official reveal of any Galarian forms. Of course, my blackout was not perfect, and I did get spoiled on Galarian Weezing, and I also knew about a couple of others like Ponyta, Zigzagoon, and Farfetch'd, but Weezing was the only one that I'd actually seen. So I still had lots of opportunities to be surprised by Galarian forms, and let me tell you, I was incredibly pleasantly surprised. Galarian forms are so good! I love Zigzagoon and Lanoon. The black and white coloration with the red eyes works really well for me, and the kiss theme is perfect. They are much more visually striking than the boring beige and brown originals. I actually really appreciate that there's another regional Meowth. With the variety of cat breeds that are out there that they could pull inspiration from, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do that sooner. And I hope that they continue and maybe also make a bunch of regional Yampers or something. Clay Tablet Yamask and Bleached Coral Corsola, both very interesting takes, and Darumaka looks great with its ice crystal eyebrows. Darmanitan as a snowman gorilla is a little bit weird, but I don't think that it's bad. And Zen Mode as a melting snowman, I don't know, it looks kind of awkward, but I do kind of like it. And as I've said before, Galarian Stunfisk has a fantastic encounter experience. When you don't know what's coming, it lures you in looking like a buried Pokeball and then clamps you like a bear trap, which is also a really cool sort of tangent concept from the original Stunfisk. Easily the best mimic in Pokemon. Voltorb ain't got nothing on this. Okay, obviously they're not all amazing. Weezing is not really to my taste, although I have nothing really against it. I don't like Mr. Mime, but I don't think there was very much hope there. Farfetch'd and Slowpoke and Slowbro, I just think they're too similar, like they didn't really change enough visually. And Ponyta and Rapidash I actually really like. It makes sense for them to be the rainbow unicorns of Galar, considering Rapidash is already a very iconic unicorn Pokemon. But I do kind of miss the flowy manes, especially on Rapidash, and I feel like they could have done that. But hey, there was nothing even remotely close to a Alolan Dugtrio this time around, so that's great news in my book. But of course, the biggest and best surprise was some of those Galarian forms evolving into completely new Pokemon. When my Meowth evolved, I was expecting a Persian. I had no idea whatsoever that it was going to evolve into something new. And I really like Berserker. The barbarian cat thing it's got going on works really well, and it looks like something from Where the Wild Things Are. Although I did think at first that it might evolve a second time, mostly because its body shape and its size are pretty similar to Meowth, so I thought there might have been another stage that would change more, but it's fine, no big disappointment there. And again, still not really any duds in the evolutions either. I don't like Mr. Rhyme very much, but it's an evolution to Mr. Mime. Still not much hope there. Corsola is great. I really like how the ectoplasmic coral body has its own face as well as the Corsola face. Surfetch'd is pretty cool. I love the way a single sliced off leak makes both the lance and the shield. I'm intrigued by the mysterious serpent creature depicted on Runerigus. Although Runerigus' evolution method is BS. If you're not looking things up, it's basically impossible for you to figure out how to evolve it. The combination of criteria is so specific, and as far as I know, there is nothing in-game suggesting you should go to the Stone Arch after a battle or something. This kind of applies to Surfetch'd too, actually, where I think the only clue is an NPC that talks about Farfetch'd that are really good in battle. This is different from Alcremie, for example, which is quite possible to figure out from the clues, or even happen unintentionally if you like doing the Charizard pose. And of course, there is Obstagoon, easily one of my favorite Pokemon of this generation. It looking like Gene Simmons is a great touch. And it's got some pretty decent stats, some great abilities in Guts and Defiant. I love Obstruct, it's perfect for the way that I like to play, and it's got a fantastic shiny. Plus, the fact that Pokemon can evolve differently, and not just into different forms of the same Pokemon, but actually into totally different Pokemon, adds a really interesting layer to the biology of regional forms and how Pokemon adapt to life in different environments. If I have one complaint about the new evolutions, it's that I was hoping there would be some for Pokemon that don't have Galarian forms. We have Galarian evolutions to non-regional Pokemon like Galarian Wheezing evolving from regular coughing, and we have new evolutions to Galarian forms, both split evolutions like Berserker and completely new ones like Obstagoon. So the only thing we're missing is totally new evolutions to non-regional Pokemon, something that we haven't had since Generation 4, except for Sylveon, and I miss it. But we got Obstagoon, so I won't complain too much. I'm really interested in what Crown Tundra is going to bring in terms of regional forms. We know that Slowking is coming, and we also know about Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, and those I'm really excited for. Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno feels so much more natural to say, but Articuno, number one, comes first.
Yes.
Regional forms of legendaries is a really cool idea. I'm really curious where they're going to go with that in terms of the lore. And visually, I think all three of these are perfect. In all three cases, I think they managed to improve on the original designs, give some more dimension to designs that were pretty simple to begin with, and they simultaneously go in a new and interesting direction and maintain the spirit of those originals. I'm hopeful that Crown Tundra will give us more regional forms than the ones we already know about, and hey, maybe even some new evolutions. But because the marketing for the Isle of Armor gave us the impression that we'd be getting multiple new regional forms, and then it turned out that Slowpoke and Slowbro were the only ones, that kind of tempered my expectations for Crown Tundra in that regard. But we'll see. I just think that regional forms is one of the best ideas that Game Freak has had recently, and Galarian forms are all incredibly well done. So let me know in the comments which ones are your favorites and how you feel about exclusive evolutions to regional forms. So thank you for watching, and thank you to my patrons for their support, especially luxury patron Ethan Saffron. I'm Umbreon Libris. I'll see you in the next chapter. Hi, I'm Umbreon Libris. Last July, when I went on my media blackout ahead of the release of Pokémon Sword and Shield,